Hello viewers, this is my 2003 Yamaha R6. It is completely stock right now, and as most of you know that the stock exhaust on these bikes does not really sound very nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video and show you how to modify the stock exhaust and to make it sound a little more throaty. It's going to be a pretty simple mod and it's fairly easy to do. So I'll give you a quick overview as to what we're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out these rivets all around with my drill, and then once I've got this cap off, what I will do is I will chop off the exhaust, the stock exhaust, right about here. How long of a chop you want, that basically is your own preference. The more inside you go, the throatier the sound is going to be. I've done this before on a different bike, and chopping it about here gives it a pretty decent length, and the exhaust does not look too weird. So I'm going to chop the exhaust right here, and I'll show you the inside baffles that are going to come off, and then re-rivet this cap back onto here. Let me go ahead and start the bike, and I'll show you, I'll let you hear what the stock exhaust sounds like, so you can get an idea of before and after. So here what I'm doing is I'm drilling all those old rivets out. What you want to do is you want to drill all the way through, so the inside part of the rivet kind of falls into the exhaust and the cap basically becomes loose. So once you have all the rivets out, you just pry the cap off like this, and here you can see the cap came off pretty clean. Sometimes you have to use a flathead screwdriver to pry it off, but this one came off fairly easy. So the holes are intact, nothing's been damaged, and this is the inside of the exhaust. Most people think that once you take the cap off it will be hollow, but actually you can see it's not. It's got the baffle in there. So that's done. Next step is going to be to use your handsaw or whatever kind of saw you want to use. I'm using my handsaw with a metal cutting blade. I also highly recommend using earplugs because it can really get loud at this point. So let's go ahead and start cutting. This is going to be a little tough process. There's different baffles in there, and you want to decide how far of a cut you want to make, depending on how loud you want the exhaust to be after it's been modified. You have to go back and forth because you're going to be applying different pressure based on how many baffles you're cutting inside. There's usually 4 of them in there. So that's off. You can see 4 small pipes in there in the cut piece. I've taken about 8 inches out, I believe. And let's take a look at what's left on the bike. That's part of the baffle that we cut. And it's a pretty clean cut, as you can see, so it's not a very difficult thing to do. So what you do next is you are going to take your cap and carefully put it back on to the cut part of your exhaust. I'm just hand fitting it. Sometimes you have to squeeze the cap a little bit and push it in there and make sure it's in there good. The reason why you're doing this is so that you can check the fitting, number 1, and number 2, you're going to use the holes that are in the cap as your markers to where you want to drill new holes in the exhaust so that you can re-rivet the cap to the exhaust. So here I have my aluminum rivets that I'm going to be using. These are just standard rivets, bought them at Home Depot. And my rivet gun, I've got a Stanley rivet gun. Just you don't need anything fancy, just a simple rivet gun will work. And this would basically be the easiest part of this mod, just riveting the tip of the exhaust back onto the pipe. Once you've got that done, you're all set, and let's go ahead and hear how it sounds.